YouTube just announced going to be updating the requirements for its partner program, and creators are split on whether this is good for the future of the YouTube partner program or if it's going to absolutely destroy it. So let's talk about it. If you're unaware, YouTube currently has two levels to its partner program. It has what a lot of people like to call YouTube Lite, which the requirements for that are 500 subscribers and either 3,000 qualified watch hours in a year or 3 million shorts views in 90 days. This is basically what gives you access to crowdfunding, so like super fans, you can list like merch links, things like that. But the coveted full partner program that gets you access to AdSense and ad monetization, that's where we're going to see all the change. So the current requirements for full partner monetization are 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 qualified watch hours within a year or 10 million qualified shorts views within 90 days. This is being changed to 8,000 watch hours in a year or 20 million shorts views in 3 months. And additionally, with short creators, if you fall below 10 million views within, I believe it is also a 3-month time frame, you are temporarily demonetized until you can get above the 10 million threshold. Now, this is going to start in February 2027. Anybody who qualifies for YouTube partner before February 2027 will be grandfathered in. So you're going to see a lot of YouTube creators start pumping out content to try and meet the current requirements. But people are really mixed on this, and I think for good reason. This is a complicated issue. This isn't something that has an easy solution. You know, YouTube does already have one of the highest qualifications for its partner program for full monetization, and it is considered to be one of the most stable partner programs of social media, you know, because you have Twitch, which is basically all crowdfunding. It's all subs and bits and things like that. You have TikTok, which has its creator program, but that's a creator fund. So it's all creators have to pull from the same pool. So there's not really consistency in that, because if more creators come in, there's less for you to get out of the pool. YouTube, in terms of ad monetization, was kind of like the holy grail of social media for content creation. So obviously, like, a lot of people are upset that that's going to change. Now, I've heard a couple different arguments into why YouTube might be doing this, and I don't fully agree with any of them. Probably the most popular one is people are seeing this as YouTube trying to force the quality to get better on YouTube as a platform. A lot of creators have concern about AI and low effort content on the platform because, you know, you do see people trying to get into the YouTube program as easily and as quickly as possible. Now, YouTube has been doing, we'll say, an okay job at cracking down on AI content because they themselves have said that they don't want to see AI repetitive, low effort content on their platform. So they are ultimately responsible for getting rid of that content on their platform. I don't see upping these watch hours as a way to deter that behavior. I think if anything, it would encourage that behavior because people are just going to turn to AI low effort content to generate even more content at a higher rate. I don't think it necessarily dissuades that, even though we can see that that type of content is not monetized on YouTube as a platform anyway. So I don't buy that argument. The other argument I've heard is that it's a cost saving feature. Now, this one I agree with, but not for the same reason. So some people are saying, you know, like, it costs money to host all these videos, server space isn't cheap, and YouTube might be doing this to cut back on what they have to pay out creators so they can save money. If they're cutting on costs, I don't think it's to save money. I think it's just to look better in front of the shareholders, because YouTube as a company has built its entire business on getting free content and using the views to sell to advertisers. YouTube in 2025 made $60 billion with a B, dollars in revenue, and the majority of that came from advertisers, that came from ad spending. So I don't think YouTube is hurting at all in terms of creators making too much content and taking up too much server space, especially when you also consider YouTube is the second largest search engine globally, and they are owned by the company who runs the first largest search engine globally. Like, YouTube is not in danger of going anywhere anytime soon. Like, they are in a very coveted spot. They are in a very secure spot. So I think if this is to cut costs and save money, it's just to make themselves look better. It's not out of any necessity or need. It's just something that corporations do. And obviously YouTube is one of the largest corporations in the world, and it's owned by an even larger corporation. Now, I kind of want to get into like my thoughts and my feelings on this because I have been simmering on this for a while. I know there's probably plenty of videos that people have already watched and already seen in terms of like their thoughts on this. And I have some complex feelings on this because, well, I don't love the idea of them increasing these requirements, especially at the rate they're doing it, because I actually saw someone break down the views requirements in terms of shorts, and we're talking about small creators having to generate, I think it was like 220,000 views a day. Even if it was 22,000 views a day, that is basically expecting small creators to constantly go viral. That is not a normal expectation whatsoever. Long form I feel a little less worried about for a couple of reasons. One is if you really get into long form content, it's a lot easier to compound those views, especially because you have that longer time frame compared to shorts. And like, as your audience grows, like, your long form views will grow in a more linear progression compared to short. And then additionally into that, and maybe this is just my bias because I do live stream, I do make gaming content on YouTube. Live streaming also counts in terms of those views. I don't know how the vertical live streaming counts into shorts views or if it counts into the long form views. That one I would have to double check. But that's why I see long form as less of an issue, because you don't necessarily have to be creating videos for it. Like if you're like me, if you're a gaming content creator, and this is who I hope my audience to be, is fellow gaming content creators, you know, if you can lean into the YouTube live streaming, because a lot of people have been getting more into multi-streaming, I think that'll help you more in the long run, especially as your platform grows. Naturally, you'll get more viewers in your live streams and that'll help with your watch time. However, I do think shorts creators are really getting shafted in this, and I think that's why a lot of people see this as like a way to pull AI content, because AI content on YouTube is predominantly coming through in shorts feed. But so I don't love this idea. I don't love this idea, even though I feel a little apathetic towards long form views, and I am a long form content creator, as you can tell by watching this video right now. I don't love it, but I think at the end of the day, for long form content creators, I don't think it changes much for you, basically because of how much you would make at 4,000 watch hours and even at 8,000 watch hours. Someone broke down their ad revenue at 8,000 watch hours, and I believe it came out to like $250. Like, so even at 8,000 watch hours as a YouTube partner, you're still small potatoes. You're still kind of making pocket change at the end of the day. And I think that's one thing like a lot of creators who are panicking, freaking out, talking about leaving the platform ultimately don't understand, is how little money you make initially into that monetization. And with that context in mind, I'm actually grateful that the YouTube Partner Lite is going untouched, because as a small creator, most of your revenue is going to come from the crowdfunding source. But as you grow as a content creator, you should be working on multiple revenue streams. While YouTube Partner Program is arguably the most secure, the most sustainable, the most, maybe even the best in terms of revenue, as a content creator, you should not be relying on one source of income. And if you see these large successful content creators, almost none of them are relying solely on YouTube. You know, they've either got products or subscriptions, you know, there's things like Substack, Patreon, like they have multiple taps going. You know, they're chasing brand deals, they're chasing other partner programs, you know, they're, you know, finding websites that'll pay them for views. You know, if you're a gaming content creator, there are websites out there that'll link you to the indie developers so you can play their game and get paid per views. So ultimately, like, that's why I don't feel worried. I'm not gonna say I love it, but I'm not worried about it. You know, shorts views, I'm not totally reliant as a short creator. I do make shorts content on my gaming YouTube channel. I do think shorts are a valuable tool, but I think YouTube doesn't see shorts as sustainable for AdSense. And so I think they're just trying to dissuade creators in general. I think currently too, if you are a YouTube Shorts content creator, they do have a separate pool, and it's similar to TikTok's pool. At least at one point in time they did. I'm not entirely sure what that looks like today, because again, like, I'm more vested into long form content. I kind of just do shorts for visibility, if I'm going to be completely honest. So at the end of the day, the TLDR of this is like, does it suck? Hell yeah. Am I that worried about the changes? Not really, because if you are going to be successful as a content creator, you should not be relying on one source of income. And I know it sucks because like YouTube Partner is put on such a pedestal, and a lot of people, this is going to make that pedestal even harder to achieve. But I think at the end of the day, like, if you are going to be successful, if you are chasing this, you know, you're going to find a way to make it work. Because trust me, you can go look at my channel. I'm not saying this as somebody who's in the YouTube Partner Program, who's bankrolling on YouTube. Like, I am someone who's probably in the same position as a lot of you guys are. And that announcement definitely stung me. But after you sit with it for a while, and after you think about it for a while, you know, you're really only missing out on small potatoes in reality. Like, in the long run, the money that you would be making is pocket change. So I don't think we should get upset and mourn pocket change. But that's ultimately why I'm not worried about this YouTube Partner update, especially as someone who I thought I was going to be on track sometime next year to hit partner on my YouTube gaming channel. I'm disappointed, and it stings for that reason. But I do think at the end of the day, like, where I'm at as a creator, where my revenue is coming from as a creator, isn't going to be that much altered, even if I hit the 4,000 watch hours next year and I don't make it into the YouTube Partner Program. Like, I'm not going to be any worse for wear, and I don't think you will be either. I think if YouTube is your passion and this is what you're going for, I think you'll make partner. I think you'll figure out a way to monetize in other ways as you grow as a creator, as you find opportunities to monetize elsewhere. It just stings because of how coveted the YouTube Partner Program is. And let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think this is a good change? Do you think this is a bad change? Are you like me? Do you think this isn't really going to change much? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so I can bring you more content.